important announcement from HDFC Bank. A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999. HDFC.
In a few moments, the news.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:15). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Soundithavam. The President visits the Dalada Maligawa. The Minister of Trade says planters will be served justice through fair prices. COVID-19 recoveries exceed 14,000. The Sri Lanka Police to regulate transport of school service. Office trains to operate from tomorrow. Isolation in several areas in Colombo and Gampaha lifted tomorrow. The final rites of the late Chief Prelate of the Ramanya chapter, Most Venerable Napane Pemasiritera, is taking place today under state patronage. New Chief Prelate named for the Ramanya chapter. In international news, the US approves emergency use of antibody cocktail. And in sports, it's tennis. ATP Finals 2020, Daniil Medvedev beats Rafael Nadal and Dominic Thiem overcomes Novak Djokovic. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa visited the Temple of the Tooth in Kandy this morning to pay homage to the sacred tooth relic and receive blessings. The head of state met with the Diyavadana Nilame, Pradeep Nilanka, and had a friendly discussion. The president visited Kandy to attend the final rites of the late Chief Prelate of the Ramanya chapter, Most Venerable Napane Pemasiritera, who passed away on Tuesday, and which will be performed today under state patronage. The number of COVID-19 recoveries recorded in the country surpassed 14,000 after another 479 patients recovered and were discharged during the past 24 hours. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said the total number of COVID-19 recoveries increased to 14,069. The number of coronavirus cases confirmed in Sri Lanka increased to 19,771 following the detection of 491 COVID-19 patients yesterday. 5,619 COVID-19 patients, including 12 foreign nationals, are currently receiving treatment at 56 hospitals across the island, while 456 suspected cases remain under medical observation. The police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana stated that the police will regulate the means of transport used by school children as the third academic term for the year 2020 commences tomorrow. In addition, he said the police are working with the health sector to take necessary action with regard to school hours and classroom conditions. He added that in particular, the task would be to pay special attention to the means of transport used by school children, whether they are school buses, school vans, private vehicles or three-wheelers. The Sri Lanka Railways says special office trains will operate in the mornings and evenings from tomorrow. The Railway Department said trains will not stop at stations in isolated areas. Accordingly, along the main railway line, trains will not halt at Maradana, Dematagoda, Kalaniya, Vanavasala, Enderamulla, Ragama, Walpola and Batuatta. Along the Puttalam railway line, trains will not stop in Maradana, Dematagoda, Kalaniya, Vanavasala, Horape, Ragama, Kurana, Nigambo and Kattua. Along the Kalani Valley line, trains will not stop in Maradana and Baseline, while along the coastline, trains will operate from Panadura, Kalutara, Alutgama, Hikkadua, Gaul, Matara and Beliatta. The Army Commander, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, stated that the isolation of several areas in Colombo and the Gampaha district will be lifted from tomorrow. The decision will be in effect from 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Borella, Vallampitiya, Colombo Fort and Slave Island police areas in the Colombo district will be reopened in this manner. However, the Vakanda Gramanildari division in the Slave Island police area and the Vananthamulla Gramanildari division in the Borella police area will continue to remain in isolation. Isolation orders in 13 more police areas in the Colombo district will be in effect until further notice. In addition, the isolation in Jaila and the Kadavatta police areas in the Gampaha district will also be lifted tomorrow. 5 more police areas in the Gampaha district will continue to remain isolated until further notice. The following areas will remain under isolation until further notice. In the Colombo district, Mattakulia, Modara, Grand Pass, Blumandal, Kotahena, Foreshore, Adirupu Street, Dam Street, Peta, Kesalvatta, Maligavatta, Dematagoda and the Maradana police areas. In the Gampaha district, Negambo, Wattala, Paliagoda, Ragama and the Kalaniya police areas. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999.
The final rites of the Chief Prelate of the Ramaniya chapter, Most Venerable Napane Pemasirithera, who passed away on Tuesday, is taking place today under state patronage. Several politicians, religious leaders and the general public paid their last respects to the Chief Prelate of the Ramaniya chapter yesterday. The former President Maithripala Sirisena and the former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also paid their last respects yesterday. The Parliament also expressed its condolences to the late Thera yesterday following the conclusion of the budget debate. Special condolence messages were delivered by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and several other MPs yesterday. Meanwhile, Agga Mahapandita, Most Venerable Makulave Vimalathera, has been chosen as the new Chief Prelate of the Ramaniya chapter. The appointment was confirmed when the Sangha Council convened this morning to discuss the matter. The Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Ruwan Wijewardena, says the party will reach a decision tomorrow pertaining to the representative for the National List seat. Speaking to the media at an event in Anuradhapura, Wijewardena said party reforms and ensuing changes will be unveiled to the public by January 2021. The Deputy Leader said the UNP plans to build a strong support base from grassroots level. He also claimed that the UNP leader, former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, does not intend to enter Parliament through the UNP National List seat, adding they will hold talks over it tomorrow. That's local news.
An important announcement from HDFC Bank. A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999. HDFC.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Minister of Trade, Bandula Gunawardena, says vegetable and fruit planters will be served justice through fair prices in the near future. Speaking during an observation tour of the storage facility being built adjacent to the Dambulla Economic Centre this morning, the Minister said discussions were held with experts to ensure it is a fruitful project for the country. The Minister said the government aims to complete construction of the special storage facility within a short period of time to allow farmers to have a stable and guaranteed price for their products while consumers can purchase goods at fair prices. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka wishes to inform the public that one of its employees was tested positive for COVID-19 on the 19th of November 2020. The employee is now under medical care. Acting swiftly following this incident, the Central Bank implemented all necessary measures to prevent the contagion. All other employees tested were found to be negative for the virus. As a precautionary measure, the senior management of the bank, who functioned physically from the bank premises thus far, also decided to work from home for a period of 2 weeks, commencing 20th November 2020. In this context, the Central Bank wishes to inform the financial markets and the general public that its essential operations will continue as usual. The general public can continue to reach the Central Bank electronically via cbslgen@cbsl.lk or fcrd@cbsl.lk or via telephone 011 2477 966, 011 2477 966, and the other numbers already announced and came to you in Watchlight. Moving on to a bulletin of world news in the headlines. The US approves emergency use of antibody cocktail. India lodges strong protest with Pakistan over planned attack by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. And the much-hyped Hong Kong-Singapore travel bubble postponed amid COVID-19 spike. The US Food and Drug Administration yesterday approved emergency use of the antibody cocktail administered to President Donald Trump last month when he was hospitalized to treat COVID-19. The therapy is being developed by US pharmaceutical company Regeneron. It uses 2 antibodies in a combination that the company says has effects on patients at high risk of developing severe symptoms. Antibody therapy involves artificially producing antibodies to remove foreign substances from the body and administering them to patients. India has conveyed its strong concern to Pakistan on the terror attack planned by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. The Pakistani Chargé d'Affaires was summoned by the External Affairs Ministry today, and a strong protest was launched at the attempted attack. It was demanded that Pakistan desists from its policy of supporting terrorists and terror groups operating from its soil and dismantle the terror infrastructure operated by terrorist outfits to launch attacks in other countries. India reiterated its long-standing demand that Pakistan fulfill its international obligations and bilateral commitments to not allow any territory under its control to be used for terrorism against India in any manner. The highly anticipated Hong Kong and Singapore air travel bubble was postponed yesterday, less than 24 hours before it was due to launch. The bubble would have allowed quarantine-free air travel between the 2 Asian hubs. But a spike in coronavirus infections in Hong Kong means the arrangement will be postponed for 2 weeks. The quarantine-free corridor was meant to boost tourism and business travel between the 2 Asian hubs, which have largely contained their coronavirus outbreak. Back to the headlines of the world news. The US approves emergency use of antibody cocktail. India launches strong protest with Pakistan over planned attack by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. The much-hyped Hong Kong-Singapore travel bubble postponed amid COVID-19 spike. That concludes world news, and moving on to development news. The Board of Investment of Sri Lanka signed an agreement with a leading Chinese tyre manufacturer in the world, Shandong Hua Tyre Company Limited, to set up a project to manufacture tyres for the export market. This high-profile project has been qualified under the provisions of the Strategic Development Act with an envisaged foreign direct investment of $300 million. Exports are expected to commence within 3 years. Shandong will be established on 121 acres of land in the industrial park within the Hambantota International Port. The Hambantota International Port Group has offered this land extent to the Chinese joint company as its first ever foreign direct investment within the industrial park. That's development news, and moving on to sports, it's the ATP Finals 2020. Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic were knocked out of the ATP Finals as Daniil Medvedev and Dominic Thiem set up a title decider. World number 2 Nadal served for the match at 5-4 in the second set, but Russia's Medvedev hit back brilliantly to win 3-6, 7-6, 7-4, 6-3 in London. He was the more aggressive player throughout and was composed in the decider as errors came from Nadal. Earlier, Thiem beat world number 1 Djokovic 7-5, 6-7, 10-12, 7-6, 7-5. The Austrian trusted his big hitting and fought back from a 4-0 deficit in the deciding third set tie-break to win in almost 3 hours. That's sports news. We look at business news next.
Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart, recently partnered with MasterCard to integrate MasterCard Payment Gateway Services, a technology platform to enable easy and secure acceptance of a wide range of digital payment methods for Ceylon customers. As the need for digitalization of banking and products and services grow globally, banks are continuing to evolve their internet payment gateways to introduce new technologies offering heightened customer convenience and security of digital transactions. By partnering with MasterCard and facilitating the MPGS platform, Ceylon customers, merchants and industry partners will benefit from a range of features delivering an enhanced user experience. That's business news. Economic news up next.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The wait is over and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Economic news. Courtesy of
Just move on real time, save more, LOLC real time. Paying the premium for transactions, simply save now real time. Day night, no trouble for your transactions. LOLC real time. Download LOLC Finance real time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and more benefits.
Sri Lanka has published a series of value-based and per-unit cess taxes to limit competition from imports for domestic producers and keep prices up as part of an import substitution economy. A revised list of import duties was also released with a maximum rate at 15% and some items coming in at zero duty. Over 2,575 items and sub-items came under the cess taxes in a kind of negative list layer on top. Some items could be imported sans the tax under permits or approval from the relevant ministry and the Director General of Customs. Many of the businesses had been in operation for decades, lobbying for continued protection indefinitely. Some are monopolies or oligopolies in their areas of business. However, large investors would also be allowed to bring in duty-free items. That's economic news.
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Moving on to the weather report. The Meteorological Department says the low-pressure area over the southeast Bay of Bengal is expected to intensify further into a depression during the next 36 hours. It is likely to move west-northwestwards towards eastern and northern coasts of Sri Lanka on the 24th of November. Meanwhile, showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the eastern, northern and north-central provinces. Heavy falls above 150 millimeters are likely at some places. Several spells of showers will occur in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Puttalam, Galle and the Matara districts. Very strong gusty winds of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour can be expected in the eastern, northern and north-central provinces. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by strong winds. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President visits the Dalada Maligawa. The Minister of Trade says planters will be served justice through fair prices. COVID-19 recoveries exceed 14,000. The Sri Lanka Police regulate school transport. Office trains to operate from tomorrow. Isolation in several areas in Colombo and Gampaha lifted tomorrow. The final rites of the late Chief Prelate of the Ramaniya chapter, Most Venerable Napane Pemasirithera, is taking place today under state patronage. New Chief Prelate named for the Ramaniya chapter. And the US approves emergency use of antibody cocktail, and in the ATP Finals 2020, Daniil Medvedev beats Rafael Nadal and Dominic Thiem overcomes Novak Djokovic. That concludes this bulletin of news.